What is up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Welcome to a live episode here, The Alternate Timeline. I'm Dennis Smith, I'm your host here. And yeah, man, just wanted to talk about some of this MCU news that happened this past week. I think our boy Kevin Feige sat down with EW, Entertainment Weekly, and dropped some gems on us, and got a lot of new updates and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing here. Let me get some music going. What's going on here? All right. But yes, welcome, and let's see. I got a couple things we can go over for sure, and hopefully everybody. I mean, did you guys watch Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania? I saw it on Thursday. Went to go see it like 6:10. Enjoyed the movie. Going to be really cool to see Kang moving forward for sure, and the many different variants he's going to play. But I enjoyed the movie. I have my thoughts about it. I have, some issues with it as well. But I'm not gonna get too into it today because I will get into it tomorrow. Actually, be live with the homies. Listen 3000 will be live tomorrow. I'll be joining them with a couple other of the homies to talk about the homie and Kang. It will be live tomorrow at 8, I think is what we're saying. It'll be the same crew that did it with the Wakanda Forever breakdown. We'll be breaking down Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, going through it kind of scene by scene, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it should be a fun time tomorrow. Yeah, should be a busy tomorrow. I also got a video dropping tomorrow morning, kind of a fun theory video I made. Had a lot of fun making it, but it should drop tomorrow around 10, talking about Scarlet Witch, Monica Rambeau, WandaVision, the Marvels, a little bit of Doctor Strange, a little bit of Kang, and just kind of tying that stuff together. Maybe there's a connection there, maybe not. Just had a fun little theory video. That's all it is, though. So look out for that tomorrow. I just got done reacting to Blue Lock episode 19. That was fun. That was a good episode. I will probably edit that sometime tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. It's a busy couple of days, so we'll see what happens there. And yeah, it should be fun. What else? Yeah, we're gonna go over some of this this Kevin Feige news that dropped about the MCU. I got the article pulled up here that EW did with Kevin Feige, and then some of the tweets that were dropping that day. That's kind of how I figured it all out, by some of the tweets I was following. The MCU Direct, good follow. They dropped some of that stuff. Agents of Fandom, I think I was getting a lot of their stuff. Shout out Agents of Fandom. You guys are a good team over there. Love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. Gotta get my shout outs, But let's see. Let's start. You know what? Let's start with the newest news today, because something is trending right now, and it is the boy. Tom Holland is trending. Why is he trending? Because apparently Spider-Man 4 will be before Secret Wars. This is come from My Time to Shine Hello, who is a big scooper in the industry. He basically said that Spider-Man 4 will come out before Secret Wars, and that Tom Holland will be the lead. This is a rumor. It's all rumors. We don't know if this is true or anything yet. So Tom Holland will be the lead in Kang Dynasty. That's crazy. I don't think anybody really saw that coming, for him to be the lead in Kang Dynasty. If that's true, could have some fun with that. I've always been speculating that the Spider-Man story is going to be an essential story for Secret Wars. Everything they're doing with Sony, the Spider-Geddon thing, Miles Morales, hopefully in the future, all the Spider-Man, all that stuff, animated stuff, all of it. So Tom Holland being the lead, being a lead, I don't know if he's the lead, but a lead in Dynasty, Kang Dynasty is it's a good start. It's a good start to it. So excited for that. And what else did he say? He said that he did his massive deal in secret. So he's locked in. It's good for him. Get that bag. Get that bag, Tom Holland. So yeah, the boy is up right now. Tom Holland is up. And we're excited for that. But that is just rumors right now. I don't think anybody's really confirmed that. That is just one account. My Time to Shine Hello, who has a good track record, I think. I think it's a woman running that account too. I think that's what I've heard, is a lady running that account, which congrats to her, she's doing her thing. All right, so what do we have on the agenda? I don't know if I should go by tweets or just go by the article. Let's bring up the article real quick. So Kevin Feige opens up about Phase 5, Kang, and the future of the MCU. This is on EW's website, Entertainment Weekly. It says, welcome to Phase 5. Avengers Endgame proved to be anything but the end for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right. Marvel turned its attention to the multiverse, kicking off Phase 4 with all the TV shows and all that stuff. Right. Now Marvel is ready to begin its next chapter. Here's your exclusive interview where Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania hits theaters Friday. It'll be the mark of the beginning of Phase 5, right? Introduce a new villain, Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors is part of Quantumania cover story. Okay. Here, Feige, 49. He's 49 years old? I didn't know he was 49. I guess I never really thought about his age. I didn't know he was 49 years old. I never thought about his age. I just thought he lived outside of time like Kang. Or something like that. Says, let's start with Ant-Man. Why was Quantumania the right film to kick off Phase 5 and introduce Kang the Conqueror? Wanted to kick off Phase 5 with a team of heroes that you already know. We knew that if we were going to do another Ant-Man film, it was always the idea to spend the majority of the time in the quantum realm. Right. Just what we saw in the movie. This place you've heard about in various movies and seen glimpses of, sure. I actually wanted to explore it, which I have feelings about that, but I will save that for tomorrow's live with Less Than 3000. Whole civilization. For years, we've always had the inkling that Kang would be an amazing follow-up to Thanos. For sure. He's got that equal stature in the comics, but he's a completely different villain. Right. Let's see if I can find like when he was dropping those gems on us. I know that you're calling Phase 4 or 5. Not everything in the film. So not every film in the Infinity Saga focused on the Infinity Stones with Thanos. It'll be the same across Phase 5 and 6, but we're gearing up. People will get a taste of this in a big way in Quantumania as we lead to Avengers Secret Wars, which I'm extremely excited for. Facts. Coming up on 23 years at Marvel. He's been there for 23 years. Jesus. Let's see. I hope we learned something on every project. I was very pleased with everything that we did. Kamala Khan, for instance, is a great new character in the Pantheon. I'm very proud of the Miss Marvel show. I'm proud of the Miss Marvel show too. I like the Miss Marvel show. It's one of those shows I feel like didn't need villains. I don't know. That was the one like decision that I was like, but I was very pleased with Miss Marvel for sure. She's definitely like one of my favorite characters in the new age. And then he said that she essentially steals the Marvels. Her with Brie Larson and Monica Rambeau, and she's like the star of the show. That's crazy. Hope to see that movie and then go back to revisit these shows. The fun thing about the streaming, okay, here's one. The fun thing about streaming is they are there forever and people can re-explore them. So Moon Knight, same thing. I think there's a future for that character as we move forward. So that was one thing where I'm like, yeah, Moon Knight, him saying that there is a future there for Moon Knight was kind of big, because I've been a big advocate for a Moon Knight season 2. I think it's the perfect season 2. I think it's the perfect show to do a season 2 with. He's just one of those characters that I think you can throw in so many places. Like even in the comics, like he's a part of the Avengers sometimes. I know he does like his own thing, but he's like in and out of the Avengers. He works well with the Supernatural team. So if you're doing a Midnight Suns, Moon Knight is great for that. He can do all kind of things. I mean, I don't know too much about what he would do in the multiversal saga, but like his mystical element plus his like he does like street stuff too. Like you can throw him on a street team like with Daredevil and whoever he's gonna be with. So there's so many people that I think that I'd love to see Moon Knight interact with too. Like just imagine, like I can imagine Moon Knight interacting with Doctor Strange. Like just imagine Doctor Strange being like, dude, this guy is insane. Like with him and his personality, this guy is freaking insane. Yeah, he's just got there's too much good with Moon Knight. I think no matter how you felt about that first season, now that he's in this second season, I did a video on this. It was like one of my first videos on this channel was why Moon Knight should have a season 2. I went hard on that video. And just like edited it all together and everything, used comic stuff and all of that. It was a fun time making that video. But I feel strongly about a season 2 of Moon Knight. Like especially now you got this guy who knows his personalities, knows himself. He's gonna be that Moon Knight that I think people, when they announced this show, was originally thinking of, you know, that guy. So I think he's definitely primed for it, and I hope that they move forward with this character. I think it's all about Oscar Isaac and if he wants to, but for sure. So that was a big thing that caught my eye with what Kevin Feige said. Let's see what else. Powerful aspects of being. Let's see. I'm curious, as you continue to grow, does it ever start to get unwieldy? How do you balance telling stories for the hardcore nerds who have seen the past 30 movies while also trying to find new audiences? It's a good question. Kevin said, we've tried to make that our methodology since the start. If there's a Marvel Studios method, like there was a Marvel method in publishing, it's trying to do both. I've talked about this for years. If you want to dip in and out and just go to the movies on Friday night or watch streaming services, you can do that. And if you want to follow along, there's certainly much more to be discovered, but we don't ever want it to seem exclusive, right? Which is smart, for sure. Now I've also realized that a lot of people like to do their homework. A lot of people find the fun in the homework and the continuity and the connectivity, but it is a balance of always trying to do both. Which, yeah, I mean, that's why a lot of people do this. Why a lot of people talk about this. A lot of people find fun in the whole continuity thing and connective thing, and that's why you go watch videos of breakdowns and things like that, and Easter eggs, and that's just the fun of it, for sure. It's a big reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, he said She-Hulk, for example, was an experiment. Let's just do a legal comedy. What if Ally McBeal was a superhero? Right? How do we do a legal sitcom with an incredibly expensive CG character? They love to acknowledge how expensive She-Hulk was. That's funny. They acknowledge how expensive She-Hulk was in the She-Hulk show. That's crazy. So I couldn't be happier with the tone that Jessica Gao has set for that. It's a very different tone than many other projects have, and that was totally intentional. I think when we are doing about 8 projects a year, and again, I said this is going to be a shift a little bit. They'll have to be different. They'll all have to stand apart and stand alone and be different from the other. So it's like when people go, I think I've hit on this too. Like, it's like when people go to the comic shops, there's Spider-Man and the Avengers and the big title ones, is sometimes you pick up a one-off or an experiment from an artist or a writer that you're a fan of. That's why the comics have been around for 80 plus years. And I want Marvel Studios to be around that long, if not longer. 80 years of Marvel Studios. That's ambitious though. I guess that's what you would want to hear from somebody that's in charge of Marvel Studios. As a fan, you'd want to hear that he wants to be here for 80 plus years, or he wants this to be a thing that goes on for 80 plus years. Does everything have to appeal to everybody? It would be nice, but I think that's impossible. And if you try to do that, you're going to find yourself in such a small funnel and pipeline that things will get similar and boring and all that very quickly. Okay, let's see. See if I can get down to some of the Okay, I'm curious. One of the big introductions in Phase 4 was mutants. Namor and Kamala Khan are both explicitly referred to as mutants. What can you tell us about how mutants and the X-Men may or not play into the future? He said, I think we've never said the word once. Yeah, they have. They said it in Wakanda Forever. He said did he say I'm a mutant, or did he say it's a mutation? I think they said mutant in Wakanda Forever. But in Miss Marvel, they definitely said mutation or mutated genes. Kamala talks about a genetic mutation, and Namor refers to himself as a mutant amongst his own people. So he didn't really say I'm a mutant though, but a mutant amongst his own people. That's all we needed to hear. And mutant is a real genetic term, not just a comic book term. All right, Mr. Feige, getting technical with us now. Part of the fun is that I've been at this company for half of my life, and we're just now tapping into arguably one of the biggest aspects of the publishing history. It's pretty remarkable. It's a testament to the house of ideas and what Marvel Publishing has done these 80 years. The question is how to do it and when to do it. And that's something we've been working on for years. Now we know, but we're not going to talk about it. All right, he's not going to give us much. So that's fair, but I'm curious what it's like for you to be thinking about mutants again, especially because you started your superhero career producing X-Men movies. Feige said it's amazing, and we've got Hugh Jackman coming back for our first Deadpool film within the MCU. That's our first R-rated film. To have you, so he did confirm it's R-rated. That was one thing that I think I saw tweeted. It's confirmed to be R-rated Deadpool, which is big. To have Hugh come back is incredible. For me personally, that is where I started. I remember sitting behind the camera, well behind the camera, at his audition for the film. Right, he flew up to Toronto. It's very full circle having him come back in this new Deadpool film. Cool. So we got confirmed that that was one of the tweets, definitely. Deadpool being rated R. And then he goes, the person interviewing says, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3 coming up, and James Gunn just took a big job at DC Studios. He tweeted that he spoke to you when he got the job. What was that conversation like? Oh boy. Said it was awesome. Can't wait to see it. Never been shy about loving those characters. I had Superman posters all over my walls of childhood. Okay. Characters being in such good hands with James is exciting and very cool. After he finishes Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. Right. Okay, I think this is when it gets interesting. So I'd like to run through some of the other Phase 5 projects you have in the works and get some updates on them. Let's start with the Marvels, which you already mentioned. What can you tell us about the dynamic between Brie Larson's Carol, Iman Vellani's Kamala, and Tiana Parris' Monica? Said that's what the entire movie is about. There are fun cosmic elements to it. Marvel comic fans will recognize elements of the Kree Skrull War. Okay, so Kree Skrull War, and it's picking up directly after the end of Captain Marvel. At the end, basically, when she gets her powers, defeats people that she was with, being the Kree. So it's gonna pick up right after that? What? That doesn't make sense. Hold on. And it's picking up directly after the end of Captain Marvel 1. Monica's still like a little girl in that. Kamala's not even alive. Not in timeline, but in story. I'm tripping. I must be tripping. How's he picking up right after that? Not in timeline, but in story. So there's probably gonna be a time jump. There's probably gonna be a time jump or something like that to like get us to present day Captain Marvel. Because there's no way. I mean, it's Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau's in this. So, we also do that in our upcoming Disney Plus series Secret Invasion. And those are two very different follow-ups to that movie. So Secret Invasion also picks up after the Marvels. Interesting. That makes sense. Tonally, they couldn't be more different, but there's something immensely powerful about seeing Monica and Kamala and Carol together in a frame. To me, it's only akin to the first Avengers movie and seeing the six of them together in a frame. It's chill-inducing. They're so great together, and they all have different histories with one another. That's what I'm excited for, and what we keep hearing from we heard from Comic-Con when they showed off the trailer that all three of them in tandem look really good together. Like their powers look really cool together. I'm interested to see that. Hype for it. The great thing about Kamala in her show and now in this movie is that she's not unlike Tom Holland's Peter Parker in Civil War. She can't believe she's with these other heroes and can't believe that she finds herself in these places, and that's fun because we want to be that, right? So she's still gonna be the fangirl that she is. Cool. All right, moving on. He asks, you've also got 2024's Captain America New World Order with Anthony Mackie, and Harrison Ford is joining the fold as Thaddeus Ross. What can you tell us about his take on that character? We start filming relatively soon. I think that was one of the tweets. We start filming relatively soon. I'm sure anyone you've ever talked with about Harrison Ford will say this, but it's unbelievable that we get to meet and talk with him and that he's embracing the role. That was another thing that like Marvel fans were like, how did they get Harrison Ford? But I got him. This is certainly a big part for Thaddeus Ross. He's the president of the United States, which I guess that's him confirming that because we did hear that he'll be the president. He's the president of the United States in this film. And with Harrison, you think about Air Force One, and you think about some of his confrontations with the president in Clear and Present Danger. There's a dynamic between President Ross and Sam Wilson, right? Because Sam Wilson, like, he used to serve. So like, and he was almost kind of like a government agent. So like the fallout between him and the government can be interesting, especially with the way Captain America Winter Soldier ended, or Falcon Winter Soldier ended. They have history together, but in this film we'll be seeing the dynamic between Captain America and the President of the United States in a way that is just incredible. He said in a way that's just incredible. Like, bro, they haven't even started filming. So what do you mean? This has been a dream for years, ever since Jon Favreau cast Harrison Ford in Cowboys and Aliens. I was always very jealous of that. So to have him finally in the MCU is just incredible. It's like I can just cross that off my list, my wish list. Thunderbolts, moving on to Thunderbolts, is also in the works for 2024 with a bunch of familiar faces. Kevin Feige says that's another one. We've got a lot of things that start shooting relatively soon. What's fun about that, and I sort of said this at D23, is that they are barely heroes, right? This was one of the tweets. He said none of them would consider themselves heroes. When your de facto leader is Bucky Barnes, that's sort of all you need to know. That was him saying, yeah, the de facto leader is Bucky Barnes, which was kind of good to hear because we also heard from like scoopers that Yelena was the main person, that she was the leader of it. Remember that was like a whole thing, like Yelena was the main leader of this whole team. And people were kind of like flipping out a little bit. Like, why would Bucky be a part of this and not make him the leader? This is him confirming that he's the de facto leader of this team, which is great. Because it feels like he just should. Like, he should be the person that carries all of that weight. And he may feel like that's his new purpose in life, to lead these people that have maybe been done wrong, or they've been done wrong or has done wrong, So yeah, I think he's the perfect person to be the leader of that team. Also keep remembering that way back, I think during Comic-Con, that Bucky, what did he say? He said something at Comic-Con. Oh, not even that Bucky. He said that a lot of the players that are on this team or a part of this movie are going to be people that we haven't even seen yet. That's the one thing that sticks in my mind when talking about the Thunderbolts. But I feel like they may have changed the story. 'Cause remember, this is a movie that they keep like switching up. It feels like we keep hearing things about Sentry, that is Ross, Adamantium on whatever the Celestial was on Eternals or in Eternals. We keep hearing so many different things about this movie that it feels like they've kind of switched up a lot. You know, we've heard from people, from insiders that or scoopers that it's a Black Widow 2 type movie. It's a Yelena movie basically, and that just doesn't feel right. I don't know. They keep believing that. They keep saying that too, but it doesn't feel like that. I mean, they haven't began filming, so I feel like we just don't really know, and I'm not prepared to say like it's one thing or the other. So I'm just gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with what he's saying, that Bucky Barnes is de facto leader. That's kind of all we really know about this movie right now. He said you've got David Harbour and Florence Pugh and those people who are at the top of their game and popping in everything they're doing. They're already here and established in the MCU, and we get to build the movie around them. Interesting, he didn't say anything about like there being new characters. He said you've also got the Blade movie with Mahershala Ali for next year. How's that going? He said it's going well. Our director Jan is down in Atlanta right now. Cameras roll in like the next 10 weeks or so. That's good news. We also got, what was it, one of the writers for Blade tweeted out something. Let me see if I can find that. He tweeted out Michael Starbury. He tweeted out, basically he just wrote something that made him do this, and it was like the meme of Patrick from SpongeBob engulfed in flames going like this, right? So he seems to be having fun writing that. So that's positive news, because after we heard what, you know, everything that was scrapped from the original idea and the shakeup with that movie, I was kind of feeling down about it, because this is a movie I really want to do well. So hopefully they change that up, and hopefully it's gonna be good now. Let's have our fingers crossed on that. So you mentioned Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man No Way Home was such a huge hit, and I know Marvel Studios has the deal with Sony regarding the character. Do you have any updates on when we might be seeing Peter Parker again? And this was also one of the tweets from Agents of Fandom. And he said, all I will say is that we have the story. We have big ideas for that, and our writers are just putting pen to paper now. So it seems like they know what they want to do, and just pen to that paper. And that is great news, especially with like the rumors that came out today that he inked that new deal, Tom Holland, and that Spider-Man 4 will be something that happens before Secret Wars. So, you know, it's gonna be interesting, because you also got that rumor that's out there that everything in between King Dynasty and Secret Wars is gonna be all like this whole battle world thing. So that is interesting, and can't wait for more Spider-Man, especially if he's the lead for this King Dynasty thing too. Like if we get Spider-Man 4 and him being lead at King Dynasty, yeah, that man got the bag. He got the bag. He got the bag. And it's cool to think of the interactions that Spider-Man can have. Obviously, everybody wants to see the Daredevil one, but him being a big part of Kang Dynasty, to me, is like an easy Fantastic Four Spider-Man connection, which is like, that's like cool for, you know, the people that are comic guys or comic people. So, yeah, just interactions between him and the Fantastic Four, Human Torch, things like that. Seems like that would be something for King Dynasty. You know, Fantastic Four will happen, and King Dynasty and whatever Battle World into Secret Wars. Yeah, Fantastic Four and Spider-Man being kind of at the forefront of everything. I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. Was that it for I think that was it for Spider-Man. That's all he said for Spider-Man. They're putting the pen to the paper, all that. So yeah, it's good news. Good news. Can never have too much Spider-Man. So looking forward to that. And then the guy interviewing basically said, or he asked, okay, one more. You brought Charlie Cox back as Daredevil, and now he's getting his own show on Disney Plus. What can you tell us about how his show fits into the MCU? Basically, Kevin Feige, all he said is it's Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and they're amazing actors and storytellers in their own right. That's sort of what I was talking about with the fun of episodic television. That's really where we're experimenting with that with Daredevil. So they're experimenting with the whole episodic thing with Daredevil because we know it's like 18 episodes. So yeah, they're really gonna. We're gonna get a lot of Daredevil. So we'll see how they work that into everything. He asked, you got a lot of things in the works with their. He said we could be here all day. Are there any other projects we didn't talk about that you're particularly excited for? Kevin said we talked about Secret Wars a little bit. We talked about King Dynasty as related to Quantumania. The only other one in terms of, for me personally, in my 23-year history is Fantastic Four. We sort of talked about mutants and the whole aspect to Marvel, to the whole Marvel world. But Fantastic Four is the foundation for everything that came after in the comics. It's true. There's certainly been versions of it on screen, but never inhabiting the storytelling of the MCU. And that's something that is really exciting for us. People will start to hear more about that soon. We plan on that being a big pillar of the MCU moving forward. Just the way that they've been in the comics for 50 to 60 years. Okay. And then they basically cut the interview short in this article because of how lengthy it was. So yeah, that's those are some of the pieces. I'll go over some of the tweets now that was coming out during this. We already talked about the Moon Knight stuff, how they're writing the Spider-Man 4 stuff into the paper, the Blade, Marvel's X-Men and the Mutants. The question is how to do it and when to do it. And that's something we've been working on for years, and now we know. So it seems like they know their general direction for X-Men and Fantastic Four. Okay, Kevin Feige on Bucky Barnes being the de facto leader. That is Ross. Lasting 80 years, Secret Invasion 2. So this is we got some updates too with just scheduling a little bit. So Secret Invasion and season 2 of Loki are the only Marvel Studios projects series that will definitely premiere on Disney Plus this year. Other series like Echo and Ironheart aren't likely for this year, as Disney tries to spread out their content. That came from Agents of Fandom. So yeah, that was one big thing this week, that they're trying to spread out their shows and movies to give each of them more time. So yeah, Echo and Ironheart getting pushed back, which that's kind of a bummer. I was kind of like how we was being fed, but I understand what they're trying to do here. Let's put it that way. I definitely understand. And let me see, Secret Invasion. I'm glad that it's Secret Invasion and Loki 2. Let's just put it that way. Because Loki season 2 definitely needs to happen. Definitely need to see that. And Secret Invasion has been one of my most anticipated shows ever since like they started this multiversal saga and they announced like everything. Secret Invasion was one that was like, I want to know more about that side of things, the whole scroll thing. So yeah, it's cool. That's those two shows. We'll have to wait on Ironheart and Echo, which I'm interested to see what they do with those, because those are two that are like not really being talked about as much. People aren't really like, it's not at the excitement level as like some of these other projects that they have. Which to me, whenever it's like that, Marvel goes extra hard on those to make it so it's exciting. So I have high interest in that. And then we heard all kind of rumors with Ironheart, with the Tech versus Magic, Doom stuff, Mephisto stuff. Like we've heard all kinds of stuff with Ironheart, and even Echo having mystical elements to that show as well. So yeah, I'm can't wait to see what happens in those two shows. And then we got previously rumored Nova project in the MCU will be a series on Disney Plus. So they confirmed that it is going to be a series on Disney Plus. It will be moving slower with Disney's new initiative to spread out its content and spend more time. Now, I don't know if it's going to be part of this saga, is the only thing. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. Let me see if I can find exactly where they was talking about this in this article. So, outline this. Okay. Pull back on Disney Plus is coming amid an industry-wide shift and rethinking the best way to achieve the profitability in streaming. Hey, what? That was it though. I didn't see anything about Nova. Am I tripping? I didn't say anything about Nova. I can't find anything about Nova in this. Okay, even projects that wrapped months ago, such as Hawkeye spinoff, Echo, and Wakanda Forever spinoff Ironheart, are unlikely to arrive in 2023 as the studio spreads out its content and tinkers in post-production. And shows in development, such as Nova, are now on a slower path. So it's a show that's in development still. So at least they confirmed it though. It's a confirmed in development show that is happening, and it is going to be a show. Are now on a slower path. How much slower is what I'm talking about though? Because it's not gonna happen in Phase 5. And it feels like it's not gonna happen in Phase 6. Nova's such an interesting one for me. I said this in my last live stream. Like, where does Nova fit into all of this? Like, what are they gonna make? What are they gonna make out of Nova? Very curious about that. Or is he just gonna be for like, maybe he starts the next saga? That would be kind of cool. Like if he's just like somebody we start getting in the next saga, like make him a main guy in the next saga. That, like, I'd be okay with that. But just like throwing him in near the end of this saga just feels like, why? I don't know. I'm not too sure, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, yeah, there was this rumor that as the head of Disney's movie and TV production, which would give